Joining us now with a reaction to this historic verdict is former prosecutor and current 34th Ward Alderman Bill Conway. Alderman Conway, thank you for joining us. What's your reaction?
Well, I mean, the case is clear. You can't do you can't do a public act in exchange for a private benefit, period. I mean, that is what we as public officials are given that trust, and clearly Alderman Burke violated it.
What sort of reverberations does this decision have at City Hall? Are you talking to your fellow aldermen already about this?
Well, I will say, as someone that was a public corruption prosecutor and as a current alderman, I hope that this really ushers in a new era of ethical behavior, of professionalism, and recognizing that, you know, you really can't get close to the line even when it comes to these kinds of decisions.
When you become an alderman, is there somebody at City Hall who says these are the do's and don'ts?
You know, you do meet with
or do you know that?
You do meet, you know, as a public corruption prosecutor, and I think a lot of them are pretty straightforward, that you can't do, most of us go into office knowing you can't do a public act in exchange for a private benefit, even though some have obviously violated that here in the history of Chicago. We do meet with the head of the ethics board, Steve Berlin, who gives us a tutorial on that, or at least he did at this term. I believe in the past, this orientation was oddly enough done by Alderman Burke. Yeah. I obviously didn't overlap with him, but he used to do the new aldermanic orientations. Right. So as oddly as that is.
Yeah, a lot of people have said this is another black eye for Chicago city politics. This is a former alderman. But what do you say to constituents today about the current state of how seriously aldermen are taking their job at City Hall?
Yeah, you know, I have colleagues that I agree with. I have colleagues that I disagree with, but I don't think colleagues in City Council today operate with that level of behavior. This was not a surprise. You know, it is very well known on that tape that he said, if you hire my law firm, meaning do a private benefit for me, I will rezone this Burger King. You know, so a very clear, essentially said the elements of the bribery statute there. So this was not a surprise, and I think my colleagues and myself take that very seriously.
You're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue to practice law privately while serving as alderman at the same time?
I don't. You know, in the 34th Ward, we have so much to do, so I'm not currently practicing law.
Okay.
Right. Alderman Bill Conway, thank you for being with us and sharing your reaction.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.